How you doing, everybody? Greetings and welcome to today's Septandy themed edition of 8 Bits in the Basement. So today what I'd like to do is celebrate all the new software that's coming out for the Tandy line of computers, the Coco 1, 2 and 3. So many of you that are involved in the community will know that there's constantly new software, new games being developed for these systems by people like Nick Morantes, who just came out with a new game a couple of months back called 0 Hour for the Coco 3, or Ken Reichard, who just brought out a game called Robot Nightmare for the Coco 1, 2 and 3 a week or two ago. But what I want to show you today is this game here, Space Pirate Kimiko, which was designed and developed by MrDave6309. Now, Mr. Dave is a good buddy of the channel. He sent me a few boards that I've made a few videos on in the past. But he got into machine language programming about a year or two ago. And the way this game came about was that he was writing a casino game that was a little bit ambitious. And he ran into one or two little problems. So in order to solve those problems, he wrote a little bit of code. And the end result was this game. Now you may ask, why are you running this game on a laptop PC and not on a Coco? Well, the reason is the game has been written for a Coco 3, but it doesn't actually run on a Coco 3. Or not just yet, anyway. So what we'll do is we'll take a little look at this game, a little overview of it, and I'll tell you more about it and why it won't run on a Coco just afterwards. Space Pirate Kimiko is an action-adventure game set in space. You play the part of a pilot who has just been hired as the captain of a small pirating fleet by the titular Kimiko. Before the game begins, your first task is to choose a crew of 3 from a group of 11 characters made up of both real people who funded the game and some manga characters. Choosing different crew members can lead to different game endings, making this a game that's worth playing through more than once. As the game begins, you find yourself lost in a nebula somewhere in deep space. To escape and get down to some good old pirating action, you need to scan the sector looking for a wormhole. Your technician and wingman will help you out in the search by giving you clues to its location, but just don't take too long finding that wormhole, or a probe alien thing might find you first. Once you get out of the nebula, you find that your problems are only just beginning. You're now in deep space, a screen, empty apart from an asteroid that passes from left to right, and of course an alien ship that fires upon you every chance it gets. If you find that going is getting a little too rough for you, you can call in your wingman to give you a hand. That's what they're there for, after all. Oh, and when it comes to weapons, you've got 2 kinds, a slow missile and a fast missile. The slow one is slow, but powerful, while the fast one is fast, but weak. Sometimes after you've destroyed an alien ship, it will leave a piece of space junk behind. Collect these every chance you get. Your technician can use them to build a super weapon to use against the end boss. After you've collected enough junk, you'll get a call from Kimiko to go meet her on the mothership. Now just before we go meet Kimiko on that mothership, let's take a look at how hyperspace travel works. In the game there are 2 main views. Satellite view, which is the view we've been using right up until now, and cockpit view, which takes us inside the ship to see things how the pilot would see them. From cockpit view, you can access all types of info on the ship's status. Pressing the status key will take you to system stats, where you can check on the navcom, lasers, warp, communication, shields, missiles, and your scanner's health. You can also see how you're doing on junk collecting for the construction of that ultimate weapon. Back in cockpit view, pressing the navigation key will take you to the navcom, where you can plot a course to a safe place in space, and then jump there. The coordinates to safe zones are given each time you complete a part of the game, like finding the wormhole, or when Kimiko sends you on a mission. But just don't try getting smart and entering in any old coordinates. If not, you might find this kind of thing happening to you. Okay, so I think we're after keeping Kimiko waiting long enough. Let's get our asses over to that mothership just before she decides to fire us. Now the mothership is the part of the game where you can take a little break and have a chat with Cat Girl. That's just before we're called by Kimiko to go see her. Now, Kimiko will give us missions, and she'll also give us jump points that we can go to complete these missions. That's pretty much what the mothership does for us. Gives us missions to go on. So the first of these missions finds you in a minefield trying to steal energy pods that float around among giant floating mines. You need to duck and weave your way between and around these mines, collecting 10 energy pods if you want to come out in one piece. Now I can give you one little tip. If you find that you're in a bind, fire like hell on the mine that's heading straight for you, and it may just change course. In the second mission, you've been sent to steal a whole bunch of energy pods from an energy reserve. The first part of the level contains a small puzzle where you need to find your way through a barrier to get into the reserve, and the second part of it sees you gathering energy pods while flying your ship through a randomly generated tunnel. Just don't touch the sides too often, because if you do, well, that's game over. Now, we all know that you can't just go around space pirating and robbing energy pods without pissing somebody off. And you see this guy right here? Well, his name's Aaron, and Aaron is pissed. All the energy pods we've been pilfering, well, they belong to him. And now, not only does he want them back, but he wants to kick our asses too. And his main plan of action consists of sending a big-ass ship after us. Naturally, we're going to destroy it. But, well, that was game over for me this time around. Now, it's usually about this point in the game that our tech would make that super weapon to help us to beat Aaron. But I'm not going to be able to show you that. So what do you think? Do you have what it takes to stop a man from laying claim to property that's lawfully his own? Or will you fail miserably as a pirate like I did? Well, there's only one way you're going to find out. Go pick yourself up a copy of Space Pirate Kimiko when it comes out and give it a go. Oh, and did I mention? The thing is full of Easter eggs just waiting for you to find. Yeah, so that was my playthrough of Space Pirate Kimiko, and Aaron kicked my ass that time around. But you may be wondering, why does this version, or why does this particular game not run on a Cocoa Tree at all? Well, the reason for it is, or the main reason for it is, the music in the game, the music that you've heard playing throughout the game, a Cocoa Tree can't actually play that. So what's been done is, this game has been set up to run uniquely using a Cocoa emulator under Windows. And what's happening is, Windows on its side is running the emulator, but it's also got a little MP3 player in the background. And every so often, when the emulator needs a sound file, it sends a command out to Windows to play an MP3 file. So Windows is playing the music and sound effects, and VCC is running the Cocoa code. And that's pretty much the reason why this won't run on real hardware. But Mr. Dave does inform me that he's working on a piece of hardware, a little expansion cartridge that will actually accelerate a Cocoa 1, 2, or 3, and will let, well, people like me who can't program at all write our own games quite easily, and also will let the Cocoa play MP3 files and whatnot. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But if you want to get yourself a copy of this game, it hasn't been released just yet, but it should be out in the next month or two, I believe. So I'll keep you posted on that. But that's pretty much it for this episode. So what I'll do is I will put a few links in the description to Mr. Dave's stuff, and also to Nick Morante's site, and to where you can pick up a couple of games by Ken Reichert as well. And until the next episode, everybody, have a very happy Septandy. Look at loads of videos belong to everyone. Learn all you can about Cocoa line of computers. And have no look at Cocoa Talk as well while you're at it. And we'll talk to you all very, very soon. Alright? PD out. Bye-bye.